Bodmin Jail, Ghosts of the Condemned. Built in 1779 under the orders of King George III, Bodmin Jail was intended to be a state-of-the-art prison. Its imposing granite structure looms on the edge of Bodmin Moor, designed to house and rehabilitate prisoners in conditions far superior to other British jails at the time. However, the prison quickly became notorious not only for its harsh conditions, but for the sheer number of executions that took place there. Bodmin Jail saw over 50 hangings within its walls, each one marked by the anguish of condemned souls who, many believe, continue to haunt the site today. Among Bodmin's most famous inmates were both hardened criminals and those who had committed lesser offences. The jail was known to hold men, women, and even children, with harsh punishments dealt out to anybody who deemed guilty. Many of these prisoners died not only from execution, but from the cold, damp, and despair that filled every cell. The hauntings at Bodmin Jail are believed to stem from its dark past, the suffering endured by the prisoners and the injustices carried out in its execution yard. Today, visitors and paranormal investigators frequently report strange occurrences, chilling encounters, and an atmosphere heavy with sorrow and anger. The ghost of Selina Wadge. One of the most infamous spirits said to linger at Bodmin Jail is that of Selina Wadge, a young mother who was executed in 1878 for the murder of her infant son, Henry. Selina's story is one of tragedy and desperation. She was accused of drowning her son in a well, allegedly under pressure from her lover, who promised to marry her if her child was out of the picture. Selina was later arrested and sentenced to hang. Reports claim that Selina's ghost has remained trapped in the jail, consumed by guilt and grief. Her apparition is frequently sighted in the area where she awaited execution. Many visitors have felt an intense sorrow and sometimes hear faint crying sounds coming from the dark corners, or feel a cold touch on their arms. Some claim they've seen the figure of a woman in a long tattered dress moving slowly through the prison's halls. Her face etched with anguish. Witnesses often leave feeling an overwhelming sadness, as if they have encountered a spirit that cannot find peace. The spirit of her young son, Henry, is rumoured to linger, also, occasionally felt by visitors as a small hand gripping theirs in the empty corridors, or even by the sound of a child's footsteps echoing through the cells. Many believe Selina's ghost remains at Bodmin Jail to search for her son, eternally seeking redemption for her crime. The Hangman's Shadow. The execution yard at Bodmin Jail was the site of over 50 hangings, and many of these condemned souls are said to haunt the area where they met their end. Visitors and staff have reported a chilling presence in the former execution area, where the air grows oppressively cold, and an unshakable feeling of dread fills the space. The spirit of a hooded hangman is said to lurk near the gallows, a shadowy figure with a rope coiled in one hand. Some witnesses describe feeling a pressure on their necks or a sense of being watched by an unseen entity while standing in the yard. Several guests have seen a dark figure appear suddenly in the shadows, only to vanish moments later. This spectral hangman is thought to be a lingering reminder of the many lives he claimed within the prison's wall. A grim figure, eternally bound to his dark task. Bodmin Jail was home to a wide variety of inmates, many of whom suffered severe punishment or died from disease and neglect. The cold, damp conditions of the cells and the relentless punishments often led to slow, painful deaths. The ghosts of former prisoners are said to haunt the abandoned cells, where visitors have reported hearing whispers, anguished cries, and even the clanking of chains echoing through the hallways. One cell in particular is notorious for strange occurrences, known as the claw room. Due to scratch marks covering the walls, this cell is said to hold an especially malevolent energy. Many believe these marks were made by a prisoner driven mad during his incarceration. Guests who enter the cell have reported a sudden feeling of nausea, dizziness, and a pressing sensation on their chests, as if they are being held down by an invisible force. Other visitors have described a heavy sense of anger or resentment that seems to radiate from the walls of certain rooms. Some leave feeling as though they've been followed by unseen eyes, while others have witnessed ghostly figures staring at them from within the darkness of empty cells. It's believed that these spirits are those of prisoners who perished unjustly or in extreme suffering, forever bound to Bodmin Jail. Another famous spirit often seen wandering the halls is known as the Lady in White. This spectral figure is thought to be a former prisoner who died at the jail. Though her identity remains a mystery, she is seen wearing a long white gown and is known to drift silently through the upper levels of the prison. Many witnesses describe her as an eerie but beautiful apparition with a mournful expression and sad eyes. She has appeared unexpectedly to many guests and is said to vanish as quickly as she appears. The Lady in White's presence is often accompanied by a distinct coldness in the air, and some have felt a soft touch on their shoulders or a faint whisper as she passes. Though her story is unknown, many people believe that she is a spirit who suffered greatly within Bodmin Jail, eternally wandering the place where she met her tragic end. Today, Bodmin Jail operates as a museum and an attraction, allowing visitors to explore its dark history firsthand. Though it stands as a historical site, the jail's ghostly reputation continues to draw those curious about the paranormal. Ghost tours held regularly invite visitors to experience the haunted atmosphere, and many leave convinced that they've encountered spirits lingering in the jail. The uneasy feeling within Bodmin Jail is palpable, and the tales of haunting echo through the generations, a reminder of the cruelty, injustice, and suffering that took place within its walls. As visitors walk through the cells, they can't escape the sensation that they are not alone, and many feel that the sorrow and despair of Bodmin's tragic past still lingers in every shadow, waiting to be encountered by those brave enough to seek it out.